Hi, everybody. Nice to see you. Good to be here. My name is Dean. And I just had a delicious beverage. Usually start with one, but I just got water today. How is everybody? Lots going on. We're talking Bitcoin. We're talking Jesus and Bitcoin. We're talking brainy people and experts. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin and, of course, the Jeffrey Epstein client list, which dropped yesterday, which was super boring. Joining me to discuss that and more, please welcome to the program, as always, my friend Lochlin Cross, morning show host 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton, who's just back from a chiropractor's appointment, and Scotty Trades, Scotty Mac, the host of the Hot Wallet podcast, taking a break as he's doing real work, making big money in the real world right now. He's one of those guys. He's a financial educator. What's the name of the website that you operate with your friend in the States? What's the name of that site?
Stock Mentor. Yeah, stockmarketmentor.com. And in September, we launched Crypto Market Mentor, which is kind of like a side subscription for anyone who wants to join Crypto Market Mentor. You can join. It's $7 for 30 days. Learn about crypto. Even if you're like, nah, it's not my thing. You know what? It costs you $7.
$7 just to learn about it. Look at Lachlan's face. He's already pissed off at you because you're talking about Bitcoin. But I'm going to bring up a tweet, Lach, before we get started. I know you don't understand it. It's like explaining half games in baseball.
It's not an understanding. It's not a lack of understanding thing.
Yes, it is.
It's not that.
Let me show you this. Let me show you this tweet.
It is a little bit of that.
All right. As I knew.
Okay, show me the damn tweet.
Bitcoin was like dead in the water like 6 months ago. We mocked Scott mercilessly. Dude has had a banner year with Bitcoin, and let me just point out some of the gains. Crypto is dead. This is from Ryan Rasmussen, mainstream media in 2020. He's like, crypto is dead. 2023 returns. Bitcoin's up 157%. Coinbase is up 391%. Solana, 934%. Scotty, some people made some money, and Lochlin didn't.
Buy the dip. Buy the dip.
Buy the
Look at
dip.
Here's the thing.
Look what happened if you would have.
Here's the thing.
No,
I've said this before. Scotty, you and I are friends.
I know, brother.
I want you to do well.
You did great.
And I don't know all the people. That are losing their shirts in this market. So I don't care. You spent a lot of time researching this and learning about it, and you are making money. That's good.
But hey, Lock,
I hope
money
that
too.
continues.
Big money.
If there's anybody that just wants to casually get into this,
Huge money.
They're gonna get taken for a ride.
Like a lot of money.
They're gonna get taken. They're gonna get hooped.
Like more than you'll make in 5 years. That's how much money.
That's how the stock market works.
Pressing a button
and
just press
the
lock,
current
just to make it worse.
There's always winners and there's always losers. I'm not wrong. Okay, yeah. I'm not wrong.
Lost.
Polly's world.
You lost.
There are people that don't make money from this, and there are people that make money from it, and the people that make money from it spend a whole bunch of time and energy learning about it, like Scott Trades here. And the rest of us, like sheep that get dragged into it. It's like an MLM. You get totally hooped.
Okay.
That the world is against you. The whole financial world.
It's nice listening to you
just
file your list of grievances.
No.
Nice.
No, I am not wrong.
You lost.
There are just
Scotty
won. What Scotty needs, what Scotty and his family needs, is a whole bunch of really stupid people to throw money at this and lose so that he can gain and make money. That's how the financial world is fixed. The stock market's like that. It's just let's just drag dumb and old people into this that don't know what they're doing, and let's take their money and they'll die starving to death.
Okay, so just let's recap that real quick. I'm celebrating Scott's returns on the Bitcoin bounce back because you and I harshed him big time prior to this when it all dropped. We're like, look at you lost all your money.
Hold on.
Okay, I did. I'll throw
I
myself
never
in
did that. Scotty, did I ever do that?
Yeah, you did.
You were. Let's just say you weren't kind.
No, I said you were. I said you were a criminal and you were taking advantage of other people. I never made fun of you for losing money.
Okay. So let me zoom out.
I don't want Scotty to lose money. I want him to rip off other people.
Yeah,
send him your $7.
Sounds like it.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to rip off other people.
Well,
I want to make money by doing my research.
you need people to fail.
Okay, no, he doesn't.
So that you can make money.
That's not how it works.
how these things
Let
work.
me zoom out. Thank you for the,
All right,
the
Bernie.
nice angry soliloquy.
All right,
about how you
right,
lost
Bernie.
by not believing in Scott. I just want you to know I believed in Scott the whole time. When he
Please. Oh God, please. Dean, I remember.
No, you were making fun of him.
I vividly remember reading your tweets when Bitcoin was at 16,000.
Yeah.
And Bitcoin was, it's going to zero. It's a scam. It's an MLM. You and Ryan and Lochlin all dancing on Bitcoin's grave.
No, I don't remember that.
That's the time you should have.
I never did that.
And I remember coming on. You're like, hey,
we
did you buy any? And I was like, yeah. I'm dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin as a reserve asset. And you're like, boo, you loser. And for a year, I was a big loser. But last year,
big winner.
Big winner. It all paid off.
Big dude. He made bank last month while you lost, Lochlin. I lost too, but I'm concentrating on you being the bigger loser here because you're still getting angry at this guy who is.
I'm not angry.
Figuring it out.
No,
he's figuring out Bitcoin.
No. Listen,
he's like a Bitcoin savant. He's like the Dustin Hoffman.
Put the link up for Scott. Send him your money. He's going to teach you get into the barn and just get ready for slaughter. Okay. And then my bud Scotty will do another trip to Hawaii with his whole family.
Yeah, that's right. He might even take us if we're nice to him. He made so much money. Okay, so what's the reason? What's the reason? Get to it before, because I want to get to two other Bitcoin examples: Bitcoin Jesus and Ric Flair. But go ahead, please.
Okay, sounds good. So, 2022 obviously was a hard year for all risk assets. Bitcoin took it up the you know what. Crypto took it up the you know what. And the reason why is because
everybody got arrested. Everybody
all the things
got,
that
Sam
I said,
Bankman jail is in jail for the rest of his life. Okay, go ahead.
Bad people going to jail for bad reasons. It happens in regular finance. It happens in digital finance. And so what we saw last year and in 2022 was we saw the Federal Reserve jack up interest rates at the highest, fastest rate in human history. And that puts pressure on risk assets, Bitcoin, digital assets, crypto. It's further down the risk curve. It's riskier. It's more speculative. So that always gets hit the hardest. And so that's what we saw happen in 2022. In 2023, we started to see the narrative start to change where, maybe the Federal Reserve in the United States was done raising interest rates, or maybe the inflation had at least peaked and we could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so what we saw was liquidity come back into the market. We saw, the stock market recover. We saw stocks like Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, and NVIDIA really kind of run things higher. They called them the Magnificent Seven. And then we saw risk assets like Bitcoin also recover, to the tune of over 150%. Now, in that, it was hard. I said to Dean, I did really well last year, but there was a long period of time where it was in consolidation and we didn't really know. And so you did have to do your research. It wasn't an easy ride. And while I have been fortunate, we're looking forward to now what's coming in 2024. And what we could see next week is in the United States, a spot Bitcoin ETF. For the first time. This could be.
What is a spot Bitcoin ETF? Explain it to us like we're idiots because we are. Explain.
So an exchange traded fund, just like the S&P 500. So instead of buying one share of the S&P 500, you can buy what's called an ETF. It's the Spider ETF.
I kind of know what that is. What it does is it makes it criminals. No. Gives them a legitimate title.
No.
So that you're less likely to think they're criminals. So you're more likely to give them your money so they can F you.
That's right. Yeah. Very. It's right.
That's kind of what it is. I mean, I don't have the technical terminology for it, like the technical definition, but that's.
I'm sure you'll figure it out. I'm sure you'll figure out a better term for it.
You'll make something up. So we've actually had a Bitcoin ETFs here in Canada. Canada was one of the first jurisdictions to launch an actual spot ETF in the whole world, and now the United States is doing it. And what that does is it allows passive investors, people who aren't crypto friendly, don't really want to open up a Coinbase account or whatever, it gives them access to this asset class. And so we're getting potentially spot Bitcoin ETFs next week. And then later in the year, we might get Ethereum ETFs and so on. And so what this does is this opens up the floodgates and allows Wall Street access to digital assets like Bitcoin and other crypto.
There's no criminal activity at Wall Street.
Yeah, well, that's all it is. Let me ask you a question. As someone who understands the tech, who appreciates it, who's made, hey, Locke, I don't know if you know this, a lot of money on Bitcoin this year.
I'm happy for him. I really am. I am. I really am.
Someone who does it.
It's not for me.
So, you take it seriously. You teach people how to invest properly, what to look for, legitimacy, authenticity, none of the fly-by-night stuff. Are people like, let me just bring this guy up, Ric Flair, damaging the legitimacy of Bitcoin? Because you and I were talking about this morning. Ric Flair came out with his Woo coin. Woo, woo, woo. It's the nature boy, Ric Flair, he says in a tweet, and I'm here to tell you about the hottest thing in crypto, Woo coin. These guys are strutting in with liquidity, like legendary charisma. Why? Because their founders put money where the woo is. I can't even fucking do it. But check this out. We're not just talking the talk. We're walking the walk. We've locked down that LP tighter than a sleeper hold for the first 30 days. And if everything's smooth, we'll keep that lock going just 24 hours. We hit the big leagues, baby. We're on CoinMarketCap, standing tall, proud. Check it out yourself. We're not messing around. CMC listing in the first 24 hours. Now, I highly doubt he wrote that tweet and understands what a CMC listing is, because I don't. And I'm not the nature boy. But when it comes to guys like this, or this gentleman, Pastor Coin, calls himself Pastor Coin. He's got a website on how the Bible it tells him to sell Bitcoin, the Bible and Bitcoin. I told you about him this week. I reached out to him for an interview. He refused to come on, believe it or not. I couldn't. I was shocked. Pastor Coin, come on the show. I want to talk. He goes, I want to know what you want to talk about. I'm like, the Bible and Bitcoin. Like, where in Scripture it says, hey, buy the dip. But that's what I wanted to know. New Testament or Old Testament? Like, what's going on? How are you, and how is that market going to be taken seriously when you're in bed with or being represented by Ric Flair's Woo coin or Pastor Coin? And any of these fly-by-night assholes, like how?
There's a lot of shit out there, and that's why you really need a framework for investing. Locke is right in some ways. You really do need to do your research and find out what are legitimate projects and what are shills.
I think it's nice that you said Locke is right in some ways after he spent the first several minutes of this podcast telling you were a criminal. I think that's really judicious.
I like Lochlin Cross. It's fun. He can have fun.
I know. I don't think Scotty's a criminal. I think he is benefiting from a system that allows for people to take advantage of other people. And Scotty finds a way to maneuver through it. It doesn't mean he's a criminal. There are people that get involved in Wall Street that are probably not criminals, that have good intentions.
Like Ric Flair?
Yeah.
Like Pastor Coin?
But Sam generally speaking, generally speaking, people that, I don't know, we can do an experiment. And this is probably, if I'm not jealous of anybody that makes any money, I never have been. I work hard for what I have, and I don't need other people to fail because I'm not doing as well as I want to. But I do know that my involvement in anything financial will basically be the death of me and the rest of my family. So I stay away from it. We could do an experiment. I could give Scotty, I'll give you $500 of my money and say, all right, go ahead, invest it for me. I don't care what you do. Within 6 months, you'll be bankrupt. Your wife will leave you. The stories will take away your kids. The entire financial system will crash around you just because of my involvement.
And you'll get super COVID. That's just what happens when you touch any of Lochlin Cross's money, because this is what he says all the time. When he chooses to get something, when he chooses to buy something, everything goes wrong. So he goes and buys Netflix. The day he goes and buys it, they up the price like double.
I have countless examples of this.
Yeah.
Somebody told me Netflix hasn't increased in 10 years. I went, okay, I'll get it. I bought it. It literally doubled in price within 6 months.
So he thinks it's karma. He thinks his money is
Gotcha.
bad, which is really
Somebody
one of the
put
more
me on this
ridiculous things that you think.
and tapped me on the shoulder and said, "You, my son, will never have money. You will be poor
Forever,
your whole life,
forever.
and everyone in your life will be poor.
Yeah.
And if you try to get involved in anything for financial benefit,
He's trying to educate us.
you're
Do
gonna
you need to take us down the road of how you're cursed financially? He's trying to educate us here. That's all he's trying to do. He's just trying to.
Scotty,
It
I hope
starts
you do
with your
really well, and
attitude, man.
I hope
It starts
I
with
hope
your
Bitcoin-
attitude. You fix that attitude, and then you can start making money.
yeah.
That's a positive investment, right? If luck comes up, to you
I
and
buy
he's like,
lotto
"Here's my
tickets.
$500. Get ready for financial ruin, Scott."
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I wouldn't even do lottery tickets. Honestly, like
Lottery tickets. That's my
buy.
That's my retirement
you
plan.
can buy get a wealth. If people want to get involved, it's really easy. Get a Wealth Simple app. You can buy an exchange traded fund, an ETF, the S&P 500. Over time, even if you don't buy at the bottom, over time the stock market goes up. It is in everyone's best interest that the stock market goes up, and it's in the government's best interest that the stock market goes up. That's why they bailed everyone out in 2020. That's why they bailed everyone out in 2008, because what happens if everyone's value is locked up into assets and real estate and all this stuff, and it all goes bust? Guess what? It's going to be chaos. It's going to be carnage, and the government doesn't want that. So it's in the best interest that your long-term investments go up.
We're banking on that. The government really wants to take care of us.
No, they
you-
just
wow.
don't want you to kill them.
Let me
They
write
don't
down
want you
all
to
the
kill
reasons why you are so full of shit. It's like, oh my God. You honestly think the government's on your side?
No, I said the government doesn't want your investments to go to zero, because otherwise you'll riot.
Yeah, you're gonna shoot somebody, dude. Like the government's
I
not.
pay 65% tax in this country.
Oh my God! Here
Okay,
we go.
we're
Back
on
to
the-
you.
we are on the
here. We're trying to
verge-
educate
we are on the
people. And you're
verge of
talking
civil
about your
war.
Hang on,
financial
Dean. Let's
position.
do some math. What's 65% of 20,000?
I'm exaggerating. I'm
Just trying to figure
exaggerating.
out how much he makes a year.
Yeah, because
65. So that's like 10,000. That's 10,000 a year.
You're in
You're
like
doing
a
fine.
Uber tax bracket. Is what you're doing. Like you're in a tax bracket that's so incredible it doesn't even exist, which is incredible.
Tell me life isn't getting more
Of
expensive.
course it is. That's what happens when
Okay.
you get older. Fun dip
Every
used to be
year.
15 cents when I was a kid. I don't blame people for it. I don't blame Big Confection because Fun Dip is now $2 for a thing of Fun Dip. Still love a little bit of Fun Dip myself, just so you know. I don't get upset that gum is more expensive. I don't get upset.
No,
The chicken's more
listen.
expensive.
I'm dealing. I'm
right,
dealing,
good.
but I'm not going to sit here and have somebody tell me the government's on our side, and that's why I should throw them money at Bitcoin.
No, I
They're
said
not
the
going to let it fail.
I didn't say the government was
That's
on your
not-
side. That's not what I said. I said it's in their best interest that the stock market goes up.
Yeah.
Why? Because
Who do they take care of? Scotty, who do they take care of?
asset holders. Asset
They
holders.
take care of the corporations that prop these businesses.
How
that's
much
what they
has
take
your
care of.
house gone up in
Because
value?
those are the guys they
Locke?
go for dinner
Dude,
with.
Locke, how much has your house gone up in value in the last, let's say, 20 years?
A lot.
You know why?
2 or 3 times.
Because they debase the currency, and what happens after that is that assets go up in price because it goes against the currency, against the dollars that you have stashed in your mattress, not making you money, lose more value over time. That's why everything's more expensive.
I've already told you if I go out in the backyard and dig up the money that I have buried in the backyard where the dog shits, and I give you any amount of that,
Don't give it to
it
me.
will
I don't
ruin
want to
your
manage your
life.
money.
Stop
It
it.
will ruin you and your family's life.
Speaking of ruined
Okay,
lives,
cool.
can I ask you guys, have you seen, by the way, you lost a lot of money not investing in Bitcoin this year, Scott, or sorry, Lochlin. Have you guys seen the, I just wanted to bring that up one more time just for Scott. Have you seen the Epstein client list? Apparently more is coming out today and some of the stories around the Epstein client list, speaking of dark money. Not
This is crazy. This whole list, this whole thing is crazy.
I'm paying attention to it. Does anybody else care?
a lot of people care about the client
Okay.
list. And it's because it's like it's not because they care about any of the victims. This is the thing, right?
Mhm.
It's that if they see a name on there of someone they don't like, or if they see more than one name on there, this is becoming the scarlet letter. How many people have told me today already, I'm just angry at life because my name was on the Epstein client list, which it's not, by the way. I've seen, the other day on the Pat McAfee show. Did you guys see the whole thing with Aaron Rodgers where he's like, hey, did you see that? Let me play this for you real quick.
Bring it up, Foxy or somebody back there.
Seats on it.
Bring up Super Bowl 58.
You'll see it.
The emblem, put it on the screen. And then bring up 57 and 56.
Does that have something to do with the Epstein list that came out?
Feels like
That's supposed to be coming out soon.
Look, this guy's been waiting in his wine cellar.
Yeah.
I've been waiting in my wine cellar for this thing.
A lot of people, including Jimmy Kimmel, are really hoping that doesn't.
All right. Obviously,
Anyway, so
I'm so sad. I used to like him.
Who,
Aaron
Rodgers?
Rodgers is such a douchebag.
He's an alpha douche. He's like completely bought into everything conspiratorial. He's just fucked.
Jimmy's not even on the list, by the way.
No.
Jimmy's not on the list.
No. He
not even close.
Jimmy Kimmel has made fun of Aaron Rodgers numerous times in the last few years, and Jimmy is very smart, and he's quite biting. And when you get into you just don't, like, Jimmy Kimmel should never step on the field and have a quarterback challenge with Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers should not step into the same ring with Jimmy Kimmel and try to have
any kind of verbal discussion at all about him.
No, and that's what he's trying to do there, and it doesn't make any sense. It's just gonna hurt him. It's gonna hurt his case.
One of the things that
he's pissed Jimmy, so he was bringing his name up that Jimmy was on that list, which that's all that was.
No, but there were like people fucked around with a bunch of texts and stuff like that too, like from the actual downloading of the documents, which I downloaded them. You can get them at Crier Media if you want to go and have a look, and like there's like 40 or 50 different PDFs that you can have a look at. But some of the stuff that came out of there was
any of it redacted? Still,
very little. Very little.
Yeah, they opened it right up. But it's all just correspondence between him and these people, right?
Well, it's Virginia Giuffre, who Virginia Roberts is the woman that brought the thing against Prince Andrew. It's basically all of her testimony, and then a list of people who also knew what was going on and what Jeff Epstein was doing, who may or may not people of interest, right? Like it's who. But Prince Andrew's name was in there 125 times, and some of the stuff that they wrote about him was absolutely phenomenal. Like this, they put a puppet on Virginia's lap, and I sat on Andrew's lap. They put the puppet hand on Virginia's breast, and Andrew put his hand on my breast, and they took a photo. So he's playing with a puppet, and the puppet of Prince Andrew was a puppet of himself. Not even, and this is terrible stuff, but not even the weirdest shit that came out yesterday. And apparently there's more weird shit. But Scott, correct me if I'm wrong. Stephen Hawking made an appearance in these documents. Is that not correct?
Yeah. There's one article or page, I guess, where it says that Stephen Hawking liked to watch naked midgets, I guess, do math equations. And that's crazy. And so there's a lot of memes going on right now of, people saying that this is Stephen Hawking, and it's essentially people who are in a wheelchair who then land on Jeffrey Epstein's island and can suddenly, speed run. And so that's what they're saying that, Stephen Hawking must have been able to do, because there he is in the wheelchair. We all know what he was going through. But suddenly he's able to go to this Epstein island and run around with, naked people.
Underage girls. Well,
it's crazy.
In the document, this is like, everybody's got a thing, right? And this is a terrible thing. This is like a decades-long sex trafficking, pedophilia ring that everybody is aware. And I'm with Scott now. No way Epstein killed himself. Dude, like, he got so much dirt on so many important people, from Bill Clinton to Donald Trump, who was on it like 7 times.
Ghislaine has got to be worried.
Oh, yeah. She's going to be next. She's going to not kill herself next, I bet. She didn't do it.
And here's the thing, like, that was his MO. Like, he would facilitate these people and fulfill whatever gross fantasies they have, at the hurting a lot of people. I want to make that very clear. A lot of people, a lot of young girls got hurt in this, facilitating these famous people, whether it's former prime ministers or people, other politicians in America, big time celebrities, fulfill whatever they need. And then he would have the girls come back to him to tell him exactly what happened so that he could blackmail them in the future. And so it's no surprise that he died in prison because he had stuff on everybody.
Yeah.
But there was also pictures and other things too, right?
Video,
pictures, videos. Like he had
none of that stuff's been released yet.
They've got everything. And to Scott's point, you know, it was a pretty well-oiled machine. If you actually went through some of the documents last night where, you know, Ghislaine would go and pick out a couple of girls. She would get her to go recruit girls and tell these girls, listen, if you get more girls, you don't have to work. You can just hang out here and we'll just give you money. And they're like, okay, no problem. And the whole purpose, as Scott said, was for the girls to come back and report back to Jeff and Ghislaine and say, this is what happened. Here's a picture I took. Here is an article of clothing. Here's Alan Dershowitz, its underwear. And to the point where they would legitimately come back and tell stories. And this is where the Stephen Hawking story came from. And this was in court. Hold on a sec. Wait, are you telling me that Stephen Hawking frequently leave the island for pleasure? Yes, Jeffrey loved to have his intellectuals visit the island so he could reward them for their hard work for humanity and for other darker reasons. And this is where it gets interesting. Did Jeffrey ever talk to you about Stephen Hawking's proclivities? Yes. Yes. He liked watching undressed midgets solve complex equations on a too high up chalkboard.
Wild.
So I'm trying not to laugh at this because it is awful.
Keep trying. Keep trying. There's also one as well about David Copperfield. How David Copperfield, the magician, David Copperfield, was at a dinner.
That doesn't surprise me. I think all magicians are creepy.
I didn't see the David Copperfield.
Anybody who does magic and card tricks,
I know what he does.
I don't trust.
So he showed up to a dinner at Jeffrey Epstein's house with a young girl. They don't know where this girl came from, and evidently he asked one of the other girls that was there something along the lines of, "Oh, do you recruit other girls too?" Or, you know, something like that. And so evidently he did some magic at dinner and whatever, but no one really knows where this young girl came from. I couldn't believe David Copperfield is among some of the celebrities. And
Michael
Clinton,
Jackson.
Bill Clinton is on there like 80 times. Like 80. Yeah. But there's no evidence. There's no one girl saying, yes, I did this to Clinton. And so that is interesting that he frequented the island so many times. Well, they must have hid that, or he must have had a deal with Jeffrey to say, look, I want no evidence of this. You know, you take me out of all your emails. You know, every girl that I interact with has to disappear. You know, who knows? I mean, I'm speculating, but that's that because some of these girls did end up dying somehow or disappearing somehow. And so, I mean, this is my tinfoil hat. I don't go down these rabbit holes ever, but this is just what I'm kind of gathering, what I'm putting together as these files come out. And again,
we were talking about this morning. How many more Alex Jones theories need to come true before we all
apologize? You know what? Maybe I'll check out that InfoWars show and let me get some of those supplements too.
That's that's one of the other shitty parts of
frogs are gay. What's going on?
Water is turning the frogs gay as well.
Oh man,
you're right, dude. I watched this Alex Jones thing this morning where he was talking about Russia, and it was put out by this dude Marcus Kolga, buddy of mine. I had a meeting with him this morning. It's about disinformation and where it comes from.
I
Russia.
saw that too.
And it was Alex Jones who put it out, and I'm like, yeah, but he was right about the Epstein list. So like,
did you see the coverage that was just released on Twitter a couple of days ago? Towards the end of the year. So Elon lets Alex Jones back on. So they're releasing stuff that he's put out in the past videos. And there was like a 5-minute video about his investigation into Epstein. And it was years ago. And he's outside of Epstein's apartment in New York and sort of going through all the details. And it's Alex Jones. And even when he's talking, you're like, this guy's insane. Like, he's nuts.
Yeah.
He's just yelling. He's got no neck. He's beat red. Like, it just looks like he's going to have a seizure at any minute. But everything he's been saying has just been like, it's becoming more and more.
Well, let's just hold the phone with everything he's been saying.
Well, I mean, in that video.
Yeah,
he was saying,
dude,
for the times he was saying some crazy crap.
I watched the same thing, and it, against my better judgment, I was thinking about actually bringing that clip on the show today. They put it out. It's like a 4.5, 5-minute video of him like at the start where everybody was like, what is he doing going after this financier? He's just a rich
You see that 10 years ago?
Yeah.
You're
10, 12 years ago,
like,
you were
you're
like,
going to be in a home.
Yeah, you were like, this guy's insane. And today,
And now,
like, dude, it's all happening. And you're like, oh, maybe. And then you think about Sandy Hook and stuff like that. And you're like, I don't want to believe any of this stuff. I don't even want to talk about any of this stuff. But the fucking idiot was right.
Like, not right about Sandy Hook. He was wrong about Sandy Hook.
No, he was not wrong about
Sandy Hook.
That's not a bunch of
actors.
actors.
Throw a ton of shit against the wall. Some stuff might stick. Like, I get
that's
that.
just it. That's just it. You know, just like investing, I'm not going to be right all the time. There's going to be some that absolutely puke and go to zero.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you have to take some of this with a grain of salt and really kind of pick through.
Well, don't worry, everybody. The government doesn't want you to fail, so they're going to bail us all out.
No, they don't want.
They're going to take care of us.
They don't want your assets to fail.
Yeah.
Your house.
Yeah. They want
Oh
you.
my gosh.
Yeah, there you go. Scotty, I know you got to run, but thanks for doing this. I really appreciate
thanks for hanging out, guys. Wish you the best for the new year, and remind everyone to buy the dip.
Buy the dip, Solana, that other one, and Bitcoin. I don't even know what the other one is.
Not the Woo coin. Do not give
buy the
any
Woo
celebrity. This is my warning. Do not buy any bullshit. If you think it's garbage, it's probably going to be garbage. And if you do want to do that, you know, there are some people that have made a lot of money on Dogecoin and all of these other shit coins. That's not my MO. I never make that money. But if you do have a degen mentality of like, I'm going to put in what I'm willing to lose. And if you have that mentality, then no matter what happens, you win.
Lachlan's had that mentality his entire investing life. So
I don't know.
Hasn't worked out yet.
Just doesn't
keep
do
going.
it.
No, keep going. You'll get one eventually.
I just leverage myself with real estate.
Did I tell you this?
Because the government's here to protect me.
Yeah, they are. Did I tell you this? Did I tell you that Scotty had like an incredible last year with Bitcoin?
I'm really happy for Scott. I genuinely I am.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm super
it's
pumped
good.
for him. I'm really happy for him.
And again, I'd like to apologize to everyone for not doing my podcast. It's just that I've been too busy making money.
Thanks, Scotty. We'll talk to you soon, buddy. There he goes, Scotty Mac. Scotty Trades at Scott Trades.
He's a good guy.
He's a great guy. I love talking to that guy. We were talking. You know what we were talking about before you got on? We were talking because I was telling him that he was talking about how he has his eyebrows. I don't even know if I should tell you this. I'm gonna say he has his eyebrows like trimmed. Like when he goes to get his, he goes and gets his eyebrows trimmed because he's got this phobia.
I have to as well.
Yeah, I know you do, but I don't know if you got the same phobia of the old man curl up eyebrow. Like he's really scared that he's going to get the old man curl up eyebrow. You know that?
Oh, if I let mine go, they would probably curl.
Will they really?
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I hit a certain age and hair in certain places just started growing like crazy. Like in my ears and my eyebrow hair and hair on my back now grows like it. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I don't have.
You're an albino, so you don't have the same hair issues as normal men. Like, yeah.
No, I know I don't. But
like, if you went outside and got some sun, maybe you'd have normal hair growth.
My biggest fear in life, because
like moles don't grow hair, right? Because they go outside.
My biggest fear in life is being that dude, because we all grew up with a grandfather and uncle that had the Roots founder eyebrows, right? Like you know, Michael Budman, the owner of Roots. You ever see his eyebrows?
Yeah.
Where like to the point where you're like, dude, has someone not said anything to you about your eyebrows? This is the founder of Roots, Michael Budman. Those are his eyebrows still to this day. And that's what Scotty's afraid of. He's scared of the Michael Budman eyebrows.
I would have those eyebrows if I let them go. Like I got to get them every time my wife cuts my hair, which is basically it's just razored it down, you know. And I get her to do my eyebrows because they go crazy.
Thanks for doing the razor noise, by the way. I wasn't sure how that sounded, so thank you. There he is again. There's the Michael Budman eyebrow. It's more of a unibrow with him, right? So he tells me today that's his biggest nightmare because he's losing hair on top.
I don't have
and all the hair in his eyebrows and his ears is starting to fill in. And he'll wake up in the morning, and we all do, right? Because we're at that age. Everybody, you turn like 45, 50. You can wake up in the morning and have like a 6-inch cable hanging out of the top of your ear and have no explanation as to how it got there, when it started growing. And then you feel like a complete degenerate because you didn't notice it. So for Scott, that's his biggest fear, is having a bushel of that stuff coming out of his ears and also coming out of his
I get the
eyebrows.
marathon hairs on my neck sometimes. Do you get those where they grow and they're like 2 inches long within seconds?
Yeah, but it's not. It's because you've missed it. It's because you haven't been paying attention to your cleanup duty. That's how that happens.
No, I think there are hairs every once in a while that get, for whatever reason, they strike some kind of gold in your body, and then they just grow hyper fast. And I get those.
I don't think that's how it happens.
Know what I'm talking about.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that's.
I had a nose hair one time, and I remember it was sort of just sticking out like one of those coarse little jobbies.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And I was in the bathroom in front of the mirror. So I kind of tried to grab it with my fingernail, and I couldn't. So I went and grabbed some tweezers, and I grabbed this bad boy, and I yanked it out, and it literally felt like it came from up here,
forehead.
And I swear to God, it was that long,
Right?
And it had a root on it, and it I think it came with some brain cells, and that just showed up. I didn't notice it for weeks, and then all of a sudden,
it didn't show up.
It was a marathoner. There's such a thing. Look it up.
No, there is.
There's such a thing as fast-growing hair.
Yeah, I know there is, but that's not what happened in that
Marathoners.
case. It's not a marathoner. It's you didn't notice it before, and I know what you're talking about.
No.
And I get very excited actually when I see a nose hair. I'm one of those guys that likes to pick them in the car, right? Because you get tinted
yank 'em out
windows
in
and
the
you're
car,
driving,
too.
and you sit there and you kind of give it a
But
feel.
they're never 3 inches long.
Well, sometimes they are. They curl around
Explain
the
that.
inside of your nostril, dude. That has happened to me before. I hate to gross out all the ladies, but they have the same issues when they get older too. They get hair growing out of places they don't like it. But that is something very serious at our age.
Have you ever had an ingrown hair that got infected?
Not only have I had an ingrown hair, let me tell you this story, and then we'll let you go.
I got a better story though.
Let's swap ingrown.
You do yours. You do yours, and then I'll do mine.
One time I thought I had a zit on the side of my nose. This is a true story. Right here. Zit. Thought it was a zit. So you play with it and you fart around with it and you're trying to squeeze it and you're like, you're pushing on it to see what, what's going on. I wake up the next day and it's more of a boil. It's more of a big sore that looks like something happened underneath it. I'm like, I shouldn't have played with it. Shouldn't have fucked around with it. So I go throughout my day and the thing starts getting a little white on the top. And I'm like, I'm going to figure it out. So it's got to be 20 years ago. I go into the radio station I was working at, get off the air. I go into the bathroom and I'm like, and I got mocked mercilessly that morning because I had the zit that was literally the size of my fist on the side of my nose. And I give it a squeeze.
Boom.
Not only did it shoot across the room and under the mirror, but a hair popped out, an ingrown hair from the inside that made its way out to the outside of my nose that was about 1.5 inches long. And it was dark. Awesome. And I was like, this is the worst thing. And I like dry heaved to the point where I'm like, that is, it can't be what I think it is. It can't be an ingrown hair from the inside of my nose. It made its way to the outside of my nose because the inside of my nose was just not having it. No, it came all the way out the outside of my nose.
Did you yank out the hair?
Oh, yeah, dude. I pulled it out like it popped out. It was just sitting there. And I'm like,
must have felt really good, though.
Unbelievable. I healed real quick, too. But I kept the hair. I'm like, this thing came out of my nose the other way. Yeah, true story. Fascinating story about an ingrown hair.
Similar situation. I've got a mole, and I've had it checked out quite a few times because occasionally it gets to a point where I'm like, I better get him to look at that, get the doctor to look at that just in case there's something, because it's a weird shaped one. And anyway, he said it's fine, but I had it was bothering me, it was irritating me, and I didn't really pay any attention to it. I let it go like a day or two, and it was really starting to impact me, and it was right around my belt buckle. So I got in there and I did a little bit of shaving around it and I was going to pop it. And I realized when I shaved around it to sort of get rid of the forest a little bit, that there was something in there. And so I went in there and again with tweezers, and I grabbed, boom, and I pulled out this huge root. The hair wasn't that long, but the root was like white and red and pussy.
Yuck.
And boom, when I pulled it out, it just drained. It just went.
And how the relief that you felt must have been incredible.
Felt so
Here's
good.
a question I have for you. Are you a fan of the pimple popping videos? You watch any of those?
No, I can't. I can do it on myself. I can't watch. I can't watch the video.
It's so satisfying. Yeah, when you see someone get like a big thing popped on their back or on the side of their head, it's like, yeah, she's getting right in there. Look at that. Oh, mushroom soup. Yeah, I can't stop watching it. It's like an addiction. I'm like,
we were on a bus when we were kids, and this guy Landon Marfleet was complaining about something on his leg, and he had shorts on at the time, and he pulls his shorts up and he starts picking at this scab, and he goes, "It's just bugging me." And we're like, leave it alone. Don't, you're going to just, but he wouldn't stop playing with it. And he pulled the scab off, and there was so much pressure from the pus. The pus shot like literally a foot and a half off of his leg. And it was like yellow.
That. Yeah.
And it was, everyone just started screaming because it was getting on people, and it was so bad. He was like this, like picking at his leg, and it shot down. It was so disgusting.
Gnarly. The human body's incredible. I know it's gross, but like the more shooting I see in those,
satisfying.
It's so satisfying to watch. You go
I
to
told you about the boil I had when I was 13.
Yeah, you
right?
did. I don't want to relive it here either because it's one of the grosser boils. Yeah, you had to pop it with your back, like someone had to pop it with their fists. Yeah.
It was just on my.
Yeah, I know.
And the corn.
Okay.
Shot out of it, and it was like a niblet.
Yeah, thank you.
And it went, and it hit the tub, and it made a noise when it hit the tub. I was at my buddy's place, and his brother was complaining about a boil on his back. And so we boiled up a jar.
So gross, dude. You're like,
we boiled a jar. No, check this out. This is a farm family. I used to hang out with the Renekers all the time, and they had like 15 kids. They had a farm. And the kid, the 10 or 11, 12-year-old, and they drank milk right out of the cow. So they were always covered in zits, all these kids, just constantly. So mom finally said, all right. So Mama Reneker has the kid down on the kitchen table, and they're all holding him down because they boil a jar, like a mason jar. It's like a big, huge glass jar.
And you put it over top of the boil.
And the kid's screaming, and he's because everyone knows what's going on, but the whole family's gathered around to see what kind of reaction this thing's gonna. And they put the jar on the kid, and it's burning the kid.
Yeah,
like you can hear his skin. Like,
I believe that's child abuse. It's like medical malpractice.
It was awesome.
And
it sucked the corn out of the boil, and it came up and it hit the top of the jar, and there was like a stream of pus, and it broke the jar. The jar cracked. I swear to God.
That is an aggressive boil.
I'm in the kitchen like this, cheering, and then like, what's for breakfast? You guys do we have to kill a pig and then cook that up? Because that's the kind of
dude.
I
can't get enough of those videos. Like the more graphic you get, the more grossed out I get. But I can spend all day on Dr. Pimple Popper's YouTube stream, like all day.
See, I
literally,
if somebody
lose
says
yourself like 20 minutes into it, you're like, oh my God,
we're going to pop a boil, come down and have a look. I will, but I won't go out of my way to look at it on my phone. I don't know what it is.
I will. Yeah. Like if I see a video she puts out on social media, Dr. Pimple Popper, beautiful lady that lives in Southern California. This is what she does for a living. She pulls all kinds of things out of people that I'm like, that is fascinating. How did that? It's like a 12-inch hair that wrapped around like a muscle or something like that. I'm like, I need to see that again, and I'll sit and watch it. And then you'll get these like, every time I go on YouTube, literally to get our YouTube thing to pump it into social media to get people to watch the show, it's like, would you like to watch another pimple popping video? I'm like, I'm good right now. I'm busy, but I would later. Yeah. So I don't like favorite it and save it, and then I'll come back and watch it later. It's awesome. It's a great afternoon. If you're ever bored and you want to see how disgusting the human body is, and if you're satisfied, the Dr. Pimple Popper YouTube channel, highly recommend it.
See, that's not on my algorithm. Everything is just women in bikinis.
Yeah, I know it is. Anyway, thanks for doing this. Good to see you.
All right. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, that was fun. Have a great weekend. Lochlin Cross, 957 Cruise FM. Give him a follow at Lochlin Cross on Twitter. There he is. He's gone. Thanks to our friends for making this possible. Can Torque, makers of rugged, hardworking torque wrenches, Canada's leading industrial tool experts, making you the very best in sales, service, rentals, calibration of industrial torque tools. Unparalleled expertise, reliability you can trust, offering solutions under one roof for any bolting solution. tool rentals, calibration services, repairs, custom fabrication, and distribution opportunities. Go to cantork.com, their brand new website, so you can have a look at what you're buying or become a distributor as well. They make them your one-stop destination for all your bolting needs, saving you time, effort, and hassle. If you'd like to become a distributor of the best torque wrenches and bolting solution tools, industrial tool experts at Cantork want you to join their team. Go to cantork.com for more information. Check out his podcast as well. And we're brought to you by Muse on the Mic. These are wonderful ladies that have got a tremendous podcast and a body rub parlor called Muse Massage Spa, musemassagespa.com. Check them out today. They're at 1290 Finch Avenue West, Unit 13 in Toronto, Ontario. World-famous Muse Massage Spa. And their podcast, which is called Muse on the Mic. Check it out today. Muse on the Mic, a behind-the-scenes look at the industry, advocates for women who work in that industry as well, and some very entertaining stories, as you can imagine. Two women who have been in that industry, the sex work industry, for a good 20 years now. So check it out today. Go to musemassagespa.com or their Patreon channel. You can hook up the raw version, which is incredibly raw. And, of course, brought to you by our friends at Gitch. Underwear that are engineered at every level of performance as well as everyday life. Buy 3, get 1 free. Use promo code GITCH3 at checkout. Their premium underwear was designed with your movement in mind, made for all levels of performance, so you can walk, run, or sprint through your day in super soft, barrier comfort. Moisture wicking, luxurious. You'll never want to take these off. A bunch of different colors. You can get a 1-pack. You can get a 4-pack. And when you buy 3 or more, you get 1 for free when you use promo code GITCH3. Again, promo code GITCH and then the number 3. And if you give them your email address, they'll give you an extra 15% off your entire purchase at edsfineimports.com. GITCH3 is your promo code. GITCH, engineered for any level of performance. Have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you spending some time with us. We'll be back tomorrow. Now, after the weekend. Bye-bye.